All right, welcome into the Merrifield Sportsbook Show. It is week 6 of the college football season. It's week 5. I don't know what week it is anymore. I think this is episode 6. That makes more sense. It's week 5 of the college football season. And we're at the end of September, which means we are 1/3 of the way through the regular season. Already hard to believe. Jada Coster, Justin Walsh, Matt Merrifield, myself, Nick Burt, of course, the normal casting crew here. Matt Merrifield, welcome back, wearing a Cubs hat today. What was the change up today from the UTSA hat?
Considering the fact that I went 1-5 last week, vibes needed to change. I need to feel like a playoff caliber team, regardless of who wins the sissy fight, I guess is the best way to put it, going on the American League Central. Those aren't playoff teams. It doesn't matter. But the Chicago Cubs also not going to do very well in the playoffs, I don't think. Sorry, Jay. But you know what? I had to acquire this hat with Jay, even though we had a lot of the same picks last week and it didn't go very well. It's fine. I forgive him. We're ready to roll this week. Go Cubs.
Matt, do you not want to serenade us with a rendition of Go Cubs Go?
No, considering before this started, I got yelled at by a friend of the program, Mike Merrifield, for my voice singing. Actually, I don't want to give away what song I tried to sing because it'll come up later in the show. So I'm not going to sing it later in the show, but the song will be referred to. So as you can imagine, when I bring it up, you will know that I definitely can't sing like that person could. So let's move on.
Okay, Jada Coster, we'll go to you next. Just how are things going in Chicago as of today?
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree. The Cubs are not going to do anything in the playoffs. They're limping. They don't look great. Hey, they're up 4-0 right now. So, anywho, great trip out in LA. Got to see a friend of the program, Nick Sogg. That was fantastic to watch that abomination of a football team. But hey, the Coliseum, USC fans are very nice. I had a great time, and I highly recommend going out to that. LA in general, I'm not a fan of, but USC's campus is beautiful, and I got to see a different version of the Sparty statue, the fake Sparty statue out at USC. So.
Well, it's a Trojan.
Yeah,
so
but it's a knockoff version of the Sparty statue. That's what I was meaning to say. So, yeah. Other than that, it was a fun trip.
Justin Walsh, I don't know. Just speak. Say anything you want here.
There's not a lot to say. Just ready to get into another show here. Surely there's not any other events going on right now that would capture my interest at all, because there are no teams that I care about playing right now. Surely not. So just ready to get into another show. As I said to Jay DeCoster in the pre-show, I cannot feel sorry for anyone's baseball team happening to blow any sort of lead at the moment. So I am just ready to get into college football.
I say we do just that and get right into it. Let's take a look back at last week, where we were right, where we were wrong. Jada Coster, go to you first on this.
A lot of wrong. Just was not fun at all. I mean, Matt, you're going to coincide with me that Iowa Rutgers was just the most un-American football game ever. Two teams that just decide, we're going to score some points on a Friday night. I think the biggest one was Utah Devin Dampier just deciding to shit the bed. And, Texas Tech is very good, but Utah looked absolutely abysmal. So those were terrible. Where I was right, Kansas absolutely blew the doors off of, I don't even know, West Virginia. Absolutely beat the brakes off of them. So that was nice to see. But yeah, 2-4, not very good. So,
Jay Walsh, you next here. Where were you right and where were you wrong from last week?
Well, where I was right, I don't know that I can really claim Oklahoma -6.5 as being right because it was an absolute legacy cover and was featured on Scott Van Pelt's Bad Beats earlier this week. So I'm gonna roll with the other pick that I got last week, which was correct, which was which was Virginia -14.5 against Stanford. This was an easy pick in my mind. You had Stanford traveling across the country. They're not a good football team. I don't know that Virginia is very good either, but that just didn't set up well for Stanford. In terms of where I was wrong, we could go a number of ways here. As Jay said, Utah. What the hell? I mean, I had fully jumped on the Utah bandwagon, and they just absolutely shit the bed against Texas Tech. I could go with my pick going against the Mike Merrifield rule. I took Illinois +5.5, and for anyone who was keeping track of that game, that got out of hand very quickly. But instead, I'm going to go with my third missed pick of last week, which was Clemson -17.5 against Syracuse in a game they lost outright, and it really wasn't close. Clemson might be dead. Dabo might be dead. I don't know what's happening in South Carolina right now, but it's not good things. So yeah, Clemson might be dead. I don't know what's next for Dabo and the Tigers, but this is about as close to rock bottom as that program has been in a long time.
Matt, we'll go to you next here. Where were you right? And well, we know one of the places you were wrong last week because it was that Rutgers-Iowa game.
Where I was right, only in one place, actually. It was with Kansas, which I should have just made my lock of the week. I overthought. Last week was just classic overthinking. Not good. But hey, shout out Kansas. West Virginia didn't stand a chance in that game. Rutgers, Iowa. Utah, just, you know what? If Utah kicks off not at 10 a.m. local time, maybe it's a different game. I don't know. I hold Fox big noon kickoff accountable for what happened on Saturday. Tennessee, just sadness. And Nebraska's a fraud again. That's them again in a big game. Like, come on. Just once. Just win a big game once, please. And then, honestly, I'm not even mad at Baylor. Like, they very easily could have won that game. That was a really good game, even though I didn't see any of that. I had to watch the highlights after. Disappointing, obviously, for how high I was on the Bears. Still everything in front of them. It's only their first conference loss, but that's one that could have gone either way. So that was disappointing. But otherwise, the thing I'm most pissed off about, if I'm going to be honest, and I learned my lesson, I'm never asking any of you for advice again. Because I asked you about Maryland, and everybody here told me don't take Maryland, road game, Malik Washington, don't do it. And Wisconsin didn't have a chance, and then Duke did what Duke was going to do against NC State. So I hold myself accountable. I'm not mad at any of you. I should know better. We'll be better this week. Jay Walsh, do you have thoughts on what I just said?
The absolute most backhanded attempt at a non-insult I've ever heard. You should know better than to trust us. Jesus.
I should. Did any of us have a winning week last week? No.
Hey, I believe I was the closest. 2 or 3 ain't bad. Especially coming back from an absolutely abysmal start.
It almost doesn't matter. Nebraska almost covered. Baylor almost won. Iowa and Rutgers did not almost hit the under, but I digress. Let's get to this week. It's a new week. I'm ready to roll. I have my picks locked in. I can't wait to get to my picks later, but I first off need to hear what Jay and Jay Walsh have first before I lock them in. But Nick, let's go.
I guess I had nothing wrong this week. We're just moving on.
I'm sorry. Hold on. One other thing, Jay. The portal was open.
As you can see, my eyes are literally looked up at the screen right now. I'm just scouting the portal right now for quarterbacks because EJ Warner can get out. I'm Fresno State for those of you who don't know. So
for those very confused, Jay and I are in a online dynasty, and our league has decided to do the off season at 9:00 tonight. and they could not wait.
JKS is in the portal from Cal. I will be.
Anyways, so
you are a Fresno State Bulldog. I'm done. All right.
I'm so far away from my screen, I can barely see the names.
Let's look ball.
Well, I mean, this will be quick. Where I was right last week, Hawaii is the only game I got right. Shout out the Warriors. They lost to Fresno State, but they covered. That's all that matters. Where I was wrong, a lot of places, but no bigger place. And I am using my platform. Stuart Johnson, I was very wrong on him. He is not the commissioner of the future for the CFL. The rules that came out this week absolutely just spit in the face of Canadian football. That is something you can go watch the emergency riders report that was almost 10 minutes long that Jay Walsh didn't remind people to wake up for. Real shame, but it is what it is. Let's get into the picks. Let's just get straight into them. Well, not the pick. I don't know. It's been a long day. We're not getting into the picks. We're looking at week 5. Let's start off with the big noon Saturday game. As it's another team that's going to be playing at a very odd time for their local time zone. And that is going to be USC, who travel out to Champaign to take on Illinois. USC is a 6.5-point favorite. Illinois, or the over-under, is 60.5. Jay Walsh will go to you first. I know Illinois just got blown out last week, but this line almost makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah, I am actively avoiding this game. USC's offense looked solid against Michigan State last week, but obviously, I mean, the defense is very questionable. They gave up 31 points to a Michigan State team that we really don't know how good they are. I think their offense is solid, but I told you guys going into the game against Michigan State, I did not really believe fully in USC yet. Didn't really see anything that made me believe in them going in. Obviously, just a shocking turn of events for Illinois last week. I liked them. I thought they were a better team than Indiana. They went into Bloomington and just got absolutely obliterated. I mean, it was that game got out of hand quick. I had a golf outing that I played in earlier that day, and we had people over on the patio afterward. We were watching on the TV outside, and I felt like every time I looked up, Indiana was scoring again. So I don't think it can get any worse for Illinois. They have to be in for a bounce back because I don't know that they can play any worse. That and having to do with USC traveling halfway across the country and the weird timing, I feel like Illinois plus 6.5 is the spot here. Like I said, I really don't like it. I think the over is a very realistic possibility just simply because I think USC is one of those teams that is going to score and they're going to get scored on. So I think over 60.5 is the play of this game. But yeah, my professional opinion is to stay away from this game as much as possible.
Matt Merrifield will go to you next here. That over-under, especially for a Big Ten game, it just feels wrong to be that high. Do you think both these teams can get to that over number?
I don't know what to think going into this game. First off, Big Noon, once again, an atrocity. 60.5 seems, honestly, I think the under is the play in this situation, because Illinois' offense has not wowed me this year. Yeah, they've had a couple games. I know they put up a big number against Duke, partially due to turnovers. But as we've seen, USC, when they travel, their offense does not travel. And we know the shortcomings typically that come with the USC defense. So in this situation, I would lean under because that we're requiring both teams to get to 30. One team might get to 30, in my opinion. So I would definitely lean under in this game. Jay Walsh, you're probably right to stay as far away from this game as possible. I'm walking straight into the buzzsaw. Like, I want it. I want Illinois so bad. There's plus 6.5. USC couldn't cover last week at home against Michigan State, playing during the witching hour. So you're going to tell me that Illinois at home, they have to bounce back. Like, I wasn't super high on Illinois coming into the year, but there is no reason why they can't win this game at home. USC coming across the country. USC didn't cover at Purdue 2 weeks ago. 6.5 seems high, but I have to take it. USC has not proven to me that they can go across the country and cover, barely even win. I mean, they did win against, but Purdue's not very good. They had to win that game 2 weeks ago. So I'm going Illinois plus 6.5. It is one of my picks this week too.
Jay DeCoster, will go to you next. Your overall thoughts here as the person in Illinois. Are the vibes, how low are the vibes on the Fighting Illini right now after last week's defeat?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm in lockstep with you guys. I do like Illinois in the spot. I just think USC traveling across the country, and like you guys said about the game against Purdue, they scored 33 points, and they had one of them was a pick six. So the offense did not look great at Purdue, who's pretty terrible. And an Illinois defense that is still very solid, except for last week. I'm expecting a better result for Illinois here. I think they're coming in this game, pretty pissed off, because you have to, if you have any hopes of doing damage this year, you got to find a way to win this game for a team traveling across the country. So I do like Illinois in this spot as well. I think I'm in lockstep with you guys, and I would also probably lean under. I know USC's defense or offense is very good, but like we said, I don't think offense. I'd rather take defense traveling over offense any day. So yeah, I'll take Illinois in this spot. I do think they come in this game pretty motivated at home. So
yeah, Illinois in a massive bounce back spot. They need to get a win here. This feels like a letdown USC type situation here. Give me the Fighting Illini plus the number here, plus 6.5. Over under. If we're going over here, USC is going to win this game. Since I think Illinois ends up winning this, I'm going to take the under here. Let's go to the next game on the board, and that is LSU traveling to Oxford to take on Ole Miss. Ole Miss, a 1.5-point favorite. The over-under here is 55.5. Matt Merrifield, will go to you first. For LSU, they did have that road trip to Clemson, obviously. Clemson does not seem to be good at all right now, but does that help them in this game, having already played like a true road game?
I think it does a little bit. However, I love Ole Miss in the spot, even with the announcement that Trinidad Chambliss, however you say it, is going to be starting at quarterback for the third week in a row. Go Ferris State Bulldogs. Shout out. And I like Ole Miss in the spot, even with Chambliss. He might be better than Simmons. They're both two very good quarterbacks. But obviously Chambliss coming in, being very proven at the D2 level, and now showing that he can also play at the D1 level. Lane Kiffin, I believe each of the last, other than his first year, 2020, last 4 years, they've won at least one ranked game at home. And as of right now, this is the only ranked home game they have on their schedule the rest of the way. Vaught-Hemingway is a tough place to play. If you're asking me to pick between Lane Kiffin and Brian Kelly in a big game, I'd rather not pick, I guess, but I would have to lean Lane Kiffin because he does find that he has won some big games. It's usually he pisses away a game that he shouldn't. He usually loses a game where Ole Miss gets too cute, playing like Kentucky or Arkansas or something. In this game at home, I like the spot. They're the lower-ranked team, favored at home. Shout out Mike Merrifield rule. The first of 2 different applications this week. This is my lock of the week. Also, has nothing to do with on the field, but for those that missed it, Lane Kiffin's daughter is announced that she is now dating Whit Weeks, the starting captain linebacker for LSU. You have to take Ole Miss in the spot. And you might say that doesn't matter, and it might not, but it doesn't not matter. And when you have Lane Kiffin responding to tweets saying, take the over, when Lane Kiffin tells you to take the over, you listen to him, and you also take the Rebels. Hotty toddy, give me the Rebels, -1.5 this weekend at home. I love the Rebels and stuff. I think with Chambliss, I think Ole Miss is really good. So Ole Miss has won at home against LSU each the last 2 times. So 21 and 23, they beat LSU at home. Give me the Rebs.
Jay, I don't know how you top that just absolutely incredible breakdown, but I want you to at least try.
No, I really can't. I mean, Ole Miss beat a pretty solid Tulane team, even though 2 of their quarterbacks, Tulane, were awful. Ole Miss, Lane Kiffin, big spots, is very scary, but obviously Brian Kelly's as well. Yeah, I'm going to take Ole Miss. I think, the Mike Merrifield rule obviously applies here. They're coming for revenge after last year's game where LSU won at Death Valley. Ole Miss is in a prime spot right here. Their offense is very good. I just think LSU's offense still working through some things with Nussmeier. They got to clean some things up. I just don't think it would be this week. It's just a big spot for Ole Miss if they want to, contend for a playoff this year. And they can obviously do it. So I will take Ole Miss. And how can you not take the over? You have to listen to Lane Kiffin. I love that man. So give me the over. And Jay Walsh is gone.
He just didn't want to make a pick.
Yeah.
He was too scared by Dylan Dingler just dropping the ball at actually behind in a pop-up that he just froze. That's what happened here.
This man is not moving for
this game.
There he is.
Welcome back, Jay Walsh. What are your thoughts here on this game? Obviously, it's a big game for Ole Miss. And will you be applying the Mike Merrifield rule after learning last week you should not go against it?
Yeah, this is another game that I am avoiding on this week's slate because realistically, these are 2 coaches that I have made a betting career of going against. I don't believe in either Lane Kiffin or Brian Kelly. I will say I have learned my lesson. I'm not going to doubt Mike Merrifield, friend of the program, Mike Merrifield. I'm going to go with the rule here. I'm going to take Ole Miss. Not a whole lot of analysis other than kind of what's already been said. Obviously, the Lane Kiffin daughter situation, that's a whole nother thing. I don't know if that's going to affect the play on the field or not, but it certainly doesn't necessarily point things in LSU's direction. So I'm going to go with the Mike Merrifield rule here, take Ole Miss. I'm going to take the over here as well. I do like both of these offenses to put up points. As for my quick absence there, I did warn you guys that my Wi-Fi may be a little bit spotty. So hopefully that's the last time. But yeah, I'm rolling with Ole Miss in the over here.
That's great analysis. I think everybody's taken Ole Miss in the over here. I want to take that, but since everybody else took it, I am going to save everybody here and take LSU in the under. Just on principle, I don't think it's actually going to happen. I like Ole Miss in this game. I like the over in this game, but I just on principle cannot have all 4 of us take it and then LSU just win a 13-7 game. So on principle, taking LSU in the under here. I love the Mike Merrifield rule though. So, I wish I could go for it, but I can't. I'm saving everybody else. Let's move on. Next game here. It is another big one in the SEC as Alabama travels to Athens to take on Georgia. Georgia is a 2.5-point favorite. The over-under is 52.5. Jay Walsh, we'll go to you first here, just in case technical difficulties do arise again. Huge game for Alabama. If they lose this game, the hot seat's going to get even hotter for Kalen DeBoer. And if they win, they're going to be the greatest team of all time and make the playoffs until they lose to Vanderbilt next week.
Yeah, and exactly what you said about Kalen DeBoer is the only reason why I even have to think about this game. I think Georgia's the better team. Obviously, I mean, Georgia was my SEC champion pick at the beginning of the season. I haven't seen much to dissuade me from that. They went out and won a tough game at Tennessee. I think Georgia's a very good team, and when in doubt, I look at the coaches. And all due respect to Kalen DeBoer, he's done good things. Kirby Smart's the best coach in the game right now. So, I mean, I will give Georgia here as the two, especially with it being played at Georgia. I do see a scenario where Alabama gets this out simply because DeBoer is.
Well,
All right.
he was Georgia minus 2.5 or whatever the number is.
That is what Jay Walsh has to be taking here. It's the only explanation. Jay DeCoster, go to you next. Obviously, huge game in the SEC here.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's going to be fun to watch. This game doesn't have the juice that, as we get two Jay Walshes on the screen, this game doesn't really. I mean, it always has the juice, but Alabama's down from previous years, and with Georgia, Gunnar Stockton is just still a huge question mark. He hasn't looked great so far. Really interested to see how he does against this defense. I'm going to lean Georgia, though. It's at Sanford Stadium at night. I mean, you can't get better than that. Alabama just got way too many question marks for me to take them. So I'm just going to lean safe here and take Bama. I'd probably go over. With Georgia's offense, they still got a ton of weapons, and Bama's still going to put up a ton of points, with the receivers they have. So I'm going to just go safe here and take Georgia. I just, Sanford Stadium at night it's just a very tough environment, and they want revenge from last year's game that, they honestly could have won. So I'll take the dogs.
Matt, we'll go to you next here. This does feel like a massive game in the Kalen DeBoer era of Alabama football, even though it's year two. We're not even halfway through the season, but this feels like a must-win type situation.
Yeah, 100%. I initially, when I went through this week and I put down like the 10 games that stood out to me on the board, I had Georgia minus 2.5, 3, whatever the number was when it opened. My issue is that I don't like picking the game of the week because the public loves to bet on the game and there's no edge. I do still like Georgia in this spot. Alabama, I think people might be reading a little bit too much into the Florida State loss. I guess, was it a bad loss? Yes, but maybe. I think there was a little bit of overreaction city to that. I still think this is going to be a very tight, competitive game. The people who think Georgia's going to blow them out, I don't necessarily subscribe to that, especially for what we saw last year. Now, however, as we've seen a little bit already early in conference play in the SEC, the teams that won the matchup last year have turned around and won it. Or the losing team from last year has turned it around this year and won. Vandy, off the top of my head, I believe Ole Miss lost to Kentucky last year. They found a way to bounce back this year, even though it was a tight game at Kroger Field. I know it wasn't technically a conference game, but A&M finding a way to get the better of Notre Dame. And Bama found a way to win a close game last year. They probably shouldn't have won, but Ryan Williams made enough plays down the stretch and one of the best games we saw last year. For that reason, I like Georgia. They didn't play their best game. They played a very bad, 2.5 quarters last year, if I remember correctly. They turned it on. The fourth almost came back. I don't think we see that this year. I think they come out. Sanford Stadium between the hedges might be the most underrated place to play in the country in terms of toughness of going in and finding a way to win, both because Georgia's usually really good and that crowd, I think, doesn't get enough respect. So give me the dogs in this spot over the Crimson Tide.
Well, I was already going into this going to take Alabama. I feel even better now. Why? Because this is a game Kalen DeBoer finds to win. It's just in his nature. He plays up to his opponents. And plays down to his opponents, obviously. I've seen nothing from this Alabama team that tells me they will win this game. I just have belief that they're going to find a way here to pick up a victory, a big road victory at that. And then next week could get funny when they play Vanderbilt again, just like last year. Let's move on. Last game of our previews, and that is going to be the Big Ten Saturday night game. It is a Big Ten Conference Championship game rematch as Oregon travels to Happy Valley to take on Penn State in the whiteout. Penn State is a 3.5-point favorite. The over-under, 52.5. Matt Merrifield, go to you first. This is a absolutely outstanding game in the Big Ten this early on in the season too, with both teams still kind of having high expectations. Is this finally the time James Franklin gets a big victory?
I'm really torn in this game. I didn't even think about putting this on my board either way, because obviously my affinity for the Oregon Ducks makes me want to lean them. The whiteout, just being the whiteout, makes me want to lean Penn State. James Franklin makes me want to lean Oregon. Dan Lanning in big games. But my thing about big game Dan Lanning is that if it actually matters, playoff game, conference title game, which I guess they beat Penn State last year, but I'm thinking back to the Washington game a couple of years ago, rivalry games against Washington, he shits the bed. Whereas games that are big, but Oregon just kind of has to go out and just do their thing, and they're going to win. Penn State tomorrow, or on Saturday, excuse me. The Ohio State round 1 last year at home. I think back to like some of their bowl games against, obviously Liberty wasn't a very good team, but they went out and just absolutely curb stomped Liberty. I feel like I'm forgetting another game where they've gone out and they just take care of business and they win because they're Oregon and they are that good and they have the team to back it up. But I can't justify cross-country travel taking Oregon in this spot. I got to go Penn State. 3.5. It hurts at 3.5 because it probably will be a 3-point game either way. But I can live going with Penn State at home, whiteout. I'll probably lose because it's James Franklin, but I'm going to live with it. I would have to say bet Penn State in this spot minus the 3.5.
Jay Walsh, we'll go to you next. Obviously, this is the whiteout game. Absolutely massive for Penn State. It actually kind of feels weird that it's actually happening at night because it feels like it's usually always either the Michigan game or the Ohio State game. And Fox ends up picking it up and it's at big noon. So it feels like this is an absolutely massive game to determine how Penn State's season is going to go.
For sure. And I mean, this is obviously kind of the game that everyone had circled on Penn State's schedule, especially everyone who thought of Penn State as a true national title contender at the beginning of this year. This was going to be the test to see who this team is going to be. I am going to lean Oregon here. I know it's across the country. I know Dan Lanning doesn't have a great record in big-time games. But James Franklin, and I basically since he first started at Penn State, I have not been a believer in Drew Aller. I don't get what people see when they say that he is a future top draft pick. I don't understand it. The dude plays good against terrible teams, and then every time they play a good team, he delivers a mediocre performance. He played solid against Oregon in the Big Ten championship game last year, but basically every other time they've played against a good team, he has delivered basically nothing. So for that reason, I'm going with Oregon here. Again, kind of similar to Matt, I don't love it, especially that 3.5 line. Very realistically, I see this game hitting the under, even though 52.5 does feel a little low for these two teams. I think the under is definitely the play here. Not a lot else for me to say. I'll believe it when I see it with Penn State. And until then, I can't take them in a big game like this.
Jay DeCoster, go to you next here. Jay Welsh just said very important words there. We'll believe it when we see it with Penn State. Is that kind of your feeling too? Because obviously we know it always feels like Penn State big game situation always falls apart for James Franklin.
Yeah, I know what Jay Walsh is saying. I mean, I'm not a James Franklin guy either. It is the whiteout still. You got Oregon traveling across the country. That just doesn't bode well, literally at all. I mean, I like Dante Moore a lot, but it's his first real huge game, and you're asking him to go against this Penn State defense at that atmosphere. It just doesn't bode well. So I'm going to take Penn State. I said in our pre-show or on before the year started, I said this is one of James Franklin's best teams. And I think it is with that defense. And Drew Allers, he's okay. I'm not a huge fan either, but just the weapons around him with the two running backs, that really helps him out a lot. So I will take Penn State here. They are really, really good. It's just a very, very tough spot for Oregon. So I will lean Penn State in this spot.
And to close out, I have this game in my parlay for the week, so we'll save it for that. And we're at the picks now, so we might as well get started. And I will lead us off after a 1-4 week last week. If Hawaii didn't cover, it would have been 0-5, and that would have been even worse. But let's get into the picks this week. We got nowhere to go but up here. And we're starting with Notre Dame -4.5 at Arkansas. I don't know why I'm taking this. I don't think Notre Dame's that great of a team. Road environment, Arkansas. It's a noon kickoff, all that fun stuff. But it seems like Sam Pittman's on the hot seat every week. They're trying to get him fired, bring back Bobby Petrino, at least as interim head coach. I'm just giving Notre Dame. I don't know if this Arkansas team's good or not. So give me the Fighting Irish. Second one, flashback to last year. I made this game a lock in the reverse fixture, and it was maybe my greatest lock of all time. I am taking the UConn Huskies -3.5. They're taking on the Buffalo Bulls this week. If you remember last year, Buffalo hadn't played on grass in 5 years. That very much cost them that game against UConn. I'm falling into a trap. I know Matt said we got to ban betting on UConn after 2 disastrous back-to-back weeks. Last week almost was even worse as they almost lost to Ball State. But they didn't go to overtime, so that is a key there. I got faith in this team. Joe Fangio, figure it out. Give me the UConn Huskies -3.5. Let's head out to the West Coast. Give me Stanford -3.5 against San Jose State. San Jose State almost lost to Idaho last week. I know Stanford's bad, but San Jose State is worse. Ken Niumatalolo, I still don't think he's got this thing figured out. I think he was a Navy triple option merchant. So give me the Cardinal there. The aforementioned whiteout, give me the Oregon money line. It's another trap I'm falling into. Give it to me. Matt really sold it to me, sending me the uniforms. Oregon is going to look absolutely incredible. The mummy shoes, absolutely incredible. They got the mummy sleeves and then that hood thing that covers your face. I don't know what that thing's called. It looks like a snowsuit type situation. That all the glow in the dark mummy thing. Give me the Oregon Ducks money line. Thank you to FanDuel Sports Network for showing the Guardian statues outside of Progressive Field, because I just saw that on the TV. So shout out to them. Final pick. Louisiana Tech -4.5 at UTEP. Why? Because I needed a 5th game and couldn't figure out anything else. I did almost go to the bottom of the barrel bowl in the Big Ten, the US or UCLA Northwestern game. I'm not touching that. Give me the Bulldogs minus 4.5. Jay Welsh, we'll go to you next here. What are your picks for the week?
I'd just like to start off by saying I'm very proud of you for not touching that game. I like our previous rule proposal that we are not allowed to bet on absolutely terrible football games, and I was going to bring that up regardless of whether you brought that up, Nick. Matt, you look like you have something to say.
I just want to say I suggested to Nick that we could potentially each of us have to pick one dog shit game a week. Like almost we have to embrace it and see who can actually get the crap right. Not that it would count for part of our parlay. You should see some of the bad ideas I pitched to Nick. As you can see, not many of them make it see the light of day. But anyways, continue.
As long as it doesn't count for our actual picks, I don't hate that idea. Just to look through each and every absolutely terrible football game every week. But anyway, we'll get into my picks for this week. Starting off Friday night, I said earlier in the show, I am embracing the Mike Merrifield rule. Give me TCU at Arizona State here. Arizona State is minus 2.5 at home against a TCU team that's ranked number 24 in the country. Not a lot to say here. Give me the Sun Devils. I'm embracing the Mike Merrifield rule. Next, we go Notre Dame minus 4.5 at Arkansas. I believe I've taken Notre Dame twice this year, and they burned me both times. So third time's a charm. This is also a Notre Dame team that theoretically is absolutely fighting for their lives. I mean, they have zero wiggle room in terms of trying to sneak into the playoff at this point. They need to win games, and they need to win games convincingly. So I think they take out a little aggression against a mediocre Arkansas team here. I know it's on the road, but I'm going with the Fighting Irish minus 4.5. I am going with Duke Syracuse over 60.5 points. These are both teams that have capable offenses and very questionable defenses. So I think 60.5 is well in range. Both of these teams are averaging well over 30 points a game. I think this is a very achievable play here. I'm betting on Tulane again. I'm going Tulane minus 14.5 at Tulsa. I don't love that 14.5 number. Obviously, I'd prefer it to be, if it's going to be around 2 touchdowns, I'd prefer it to be on the good side of it. But I do think that this Tulane team is legit. And I think Tulsa is very mediocre. I think Tulane rolls in this game. And then my lock of the week. Matt's probably going to call me some variation of a $3 hooker again for this one. Going with Missouri, minus 44.5
Stop.
Against UMass.
No, time out.
Hear me out. This UMass team might be the worst team in college football. I understand that UCLA has gotten a lot of flack. Let me list you the 3 games this UMass team has played so far.
I'm sure you're right.
They played Temple.
I believe you.
They played Temple week 1 and lost 42-10 at home. They then hosted Bryant and lost 27-26. They then went on the road to Iowa last week and 2 weeks ago and got absolutely shit pumped 47-7. This is a horrendous football team, and they are going up against a Missouri team that has looked very solid this year. Ahmad Hardy should be in the Heisman conversation. And a Missouri team that clearly has shown that they like to run up the scoreboard against bad football teams.
You should be ashamed.
This is my lock of the week. I told you before, if Vegas is going to offer me free money, I'm going to take it. Missouri minus 44.5. This shit will probably hit by halftime.
I have no words. This is your lock?
That is my lock of the week, Matt.
Go Minutemen. I hate that pick. I gotta be honest here, but whatever. I mean, it's probably gonna be right. I
don't think people have fully grasped how bad this UMass team is yet.
No, we got it. Just So what are your 5 picks?
I went with Arizona State -2.5, Notre Dame -4.5, Duke Syracuse over 60.5, Tulane -14.5, and Missouri -44.5.
Well, I have 2 of the same picks as you, so all right. Anyways.
Jay DeCoster, we'll go to you next because Matt needed to stay last because he didn't know if he was going to change.
I have some work
He
to
wants
do.
to change up his picks.
I might have my decision made for me now.
All right. Well, I guess I'll start. I'm rolling. I had this one, as Jay Walsh said. I'm taking Arizona State -2.5. The Mike Merrifield rule is in play. I really like these quarterbacks. Obviously, love Hoover, and I like Sam Levitt a lot. This will be a fun Friday night football game. I like Arizona State in this spot at home in the desert, and that is going to be my lock as well. Really like the Sun Devils in this spot. This is my one. Actually, no, that's later. North Texas, South Alabama. North Texas is laying 12.5 against a pretty awful South Alabama team. So I like North Texas -12.5. They rack up the points. That air raid offense is very fun to watch, and they are actually a pretty solid team so far this year. So I like them -12.5 over a pretty terrible South Alabama team. Texas A&M laying 6.5 at home against Auburn. I like A&M -6.5 there. Auburn's just kind of, their schedule's so brutal. You saw it against Oklahoma. They're all right, but Texas A&M has a very, very solid team this year, so I like A&M at home in College Station -6.5. Memphis FAU. Memphis is laying 13.5 in this spot. FAU is pretty terrible, and Memphis is competing for that power or that group of 5 college football playoff spot. That they got kind of lucky against Arkansas and was able to squeak away with a win, but a win's a win. I like Memphis -13.5 there at FAU, like I said, who is pretty awful. And last but not least, I am going Georgia -2.5 against Bama, like we talked about. Just a ton of question marks with Bama, so I like Georgia in that spot, and I also like that number. So those are my 5 picks, and like I said, Arizona State is going to be my lock.
Matt Merrifield, your time has come. Close this out here. I know what you're going with one of them. I don't think you should.
So here's the situation. I had my 6 picks, and there was one pick, as I explained to Nick, that has just been staring at me like the boogeyman basically since the beginning of August. I went back and looked, Nick, as to when I told you that this game was going to happen and how it was going to go. The problem is I want to take out one of the picks that I share with Jay Walsh or Jay. The problem is that it's either Arizona State, or let's just go through the 6 picks I have. Arizona State -2.5. That's Jay's lock. The problem is that Jay Walsh also has it. That's not good. That's not even though it follows the Mike Merrifield rule. So I don't know which. If
it follows the Mike Merrifield rule, then
unstoppable force, immovable object. And then I have Illinois +6.5. That one's staying. East Coast, West Coast. Give me Illinois. All right. Here's what we're going to do. Okay. I know who I'm getting rid of. We're getting rid of Kansas because I don't know why that spread is so small. Nope. We're getting rid of. Fuck it. We're going to go with all of them. We're going to play it. Fuck it. We're doing this live. All right. Arizona State -2.5. Mike Merrifield rule. I don't care what Jay Walsh and Jay are doing. They get it. I beat it into them last week. That's what I'm going to believe, that they figured it out in the last 5 days, that they finally believe to take the Mike Merrifield rule, and it will be right this week. Arizona -2.5. Also, it's a blackout on a Friday. TCU's not ready. Illinois +6.5. Big noon. Way too early for USC. Give me Illinois. North Texas -12.5. Mesta Maker, stud. One of the fastest paced offenses in the country. They actually stop the run, even though they run the air raid. Love it. South Alabama, not super good. Kansas -4.5. I don't think Cincinnati's that good. I'm a little worried that it's down to 4.5. I feel like it should be a slightly bigger spread, but maybe the world doesn't realize how good Kansas is yet. Maybe that'll be this weekend. Kansas wins a lot of one-score games, but 4.5 is within one score. So, lock of the week. Lock it in. Mike Merrifield rule. Lane
Well,
Kiffin's daughter.
we didn't hear your lock.
Oh, Ole Miss.
Oh,
Ole
okay.
Miss. Lane Kiffin, his
Yeah.
daughter. Mike Merrifield rule. Just the vibes. Brian Kelly sucks. Vibes. I like Tulane minus 13.5 simply because Tulane coming off a loss, they're going to want to bounce back, and Tulsa might show up naked to the game. Like, let's be honest here. They beat Oklahoma State. They don't give a fuck. Like, this game doesn't matter. They're not a very good football team, regardless. Now you're telling me that Tulane, one of the best G5 teams, pissed off, going to go on the road, get a conference win to start things off in the American, minus 13.5. Give me Tulane. My final pick, it's going to hit. East Coast to West Coast, 3:30, CBS, Brad Nessler. Give me the Washington Huskies. I got it at 9.5. It's down to 7.5. I don't know why it keeps dropping, but that makes me love it even more. I know the public's going to hammer the shit out of Julian Sand and the Ohio State Buckeyes. Give me the Huskies plus 9.5 at home. Purple Rain. That's the song I was singing earlier to Mike Merrifield, and he told me to stop. Shout out Prince. Damon Williams, the Prince of the Washington Huskies. Jonah Coleman might be the best running back in the conference. I love the Huskies in the spot. I told Nick about this back in early August. This is Ohio State's one loss this year. They're not going to be ready to go on the road. Sellout crowd. It's the Purple Rain game. Love the Huskies. Absolutely could not love the Huskies any more than I already do in this spot. Huskies plus 9.5. That's the final pick. 7 picks this week. We're feeling good. We're going to bounce back after the 1-5 a week ago. Questions? Jay Walsh.
Can I ask, if you feel so good about that game, why is it not your lock of the week?
Because Lane Kiffin's daughter trumps Purple Rain.
Good to know where the hierarchy
Even
is.
though Prince could probably date Lane Kiffin's daughter.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. by the way.
Shut
It's
up.
almost been
Purple
10 years since we lost Prince. Real shame.
What is Exactly. Shut up, Prince. Anyways, give me
Hey.
the Huskies. I used to hate the
Purple
Huskies.
Rain. What a
Now I'm
movie.
back on the Huskies.
Just absolutely incredible. Kind of ironic right now. Jay Walsh, I'm sure you just saw it because I just saw it. The commercial for Tigers playoff tickets that are on sale now.
I have no idea what you're talking about. There's definitely not a baseball game on my TV right now.
Yeah, is it scary that our picks are very similar again?
No, because I'm hoping you learned your lesson. I'm hoping I'm rubbing off on you, and you're not rubbing off on me.
So,
I guess we'll find out this week. If I have another shit week, I might not show up next week. I might take the week off.
Hey, no days off here at the Merrifield Sportsbook. We will work through our gambling struggles. I mean, Jay Walsh went like 1-10 in locks of the week last year.
Hey,
I believe there was at least a 9-week losing streak last year, I believe.
As Mikey from Jersey Shore used to say, the comeback is always greater than the setback. Last week was just a setback. We're ready to bounce back this week. All of us, as one. I believe in us. We're going to go
Missouri minus 44 and a half.
We're going to go 22-0. Jay Walsh is a Jersey. I know JDC is a Jersey Shore guy. I can feel it.
No, I'm not. I'm sorry.
Just saying.
Mizzou minus 44 and a half, baby.
Yeah.
Let it ride. You know it's the play, Matt.
That's terrorism. Oh, you want a sicko bet of the week? Speaking of which, Boise State minus 16.5 or whatever the number is against App State. Cross country travel for the Mountaineers. Boise, I don't even know if Boise's actually good or not. I know they lost to USF and they've won their 2 games since then. But 16.5, Smurf turf, Boise State. That's not part of the parlay, but that I like Boise State as the Broncos in that spot.
I mean, if we're throwing out
if you want the dog shit parlay of the week with Missouri minus 45, Memphis, Boise State.
I will say if we're throwing out bullshit games next week, we have prime action Eastern Michigan versus Central Michigan.
I love Eastern.
Just an absolute
Eastern
rock
plus
fight.
6.5. That's another great pick. I don't know why Central's favored by a touchdown.
They are not good. Neither of these teams are good.
Can I interest you in Oklahoma State plus 21.5?
No, that's not even dog shit.
Jay, I was hoping somebody was going to bring this up. Oklahoma State is either going to win that game straight up or they're going to lose by 40. There's no in between. They are either going to get the interim coach boost or they are going to absolutely just go deeper than rock bottom.
Hey, we thought Harlan Barnett was going to do that and watched him win by like 40. I don't want to talk about that era though. I'm done. As Josh is about to.
Yeah.
With your East Coast, West Coast bet, there is one on the board this week. I'm surprised you didn't take.
And what one would that be?
That would be the Cal Bears.
Oh, I'm not betting BC. I'm sorry. I had that down as one of my 10 on Sunday. And then I was like, I'm taking that off. Like once again, you want another dog shit bet? Take BC. There you go. There's the 4-game parlay. BC, Boise State, Mizzou, and Eastern Michigan. Take it to the cash counter.
Also, can we talk about how Matt and I have the same bet on our parlays, but at different lines?
I don't know what number you use. These are the numbers I get.
I'm literally looking at FanDuel right now. Tulane is minus 14.5.
Right. That's because you look now. I look on Monday. And I don't. And if I like the line on Monday, I take the line on Monday.
Thought we were advising people of lines that they could take. 13.5 isn't going to be
I
a
still
viable
like it
number.
at 14.5. I would take it.
I like. Trust me, I put it in the parlay. I like it too, but I would like it a hell of a lot more at 13.5.
That's why you get in before the public fucks everything up.
Wow. What a show. What a show. I mean, I think we should wrap it up. Anybody else got anything going here that they want to leave out before the end?
Watch out. Mississippi State plus 7.5 against Tennessee. Dangerous spot in Starkville. Dangerous spot in Starkville. Trap house. Just saying. Do not take Tennessee. You don't have to take Mississippi State, but do not take Tennessee laying north of a touchdown. That's all I have to say. Stay advised.
Jay Walsh, any parting comments?
No, there's nothing that's been happening for the last 2.5 hours that I want to talk about.
Hey, I'm just recruiting right now. I'm trying to get JKS. Hey, Malik Murphy's in the portal. If that interests you. Yeah. What is that? His fourth team or something? I don't know.
I just want to advise you guys, what year of your online dynasty are you in?
It took us 2 months to finish one season.
Oh, Jesus.
If you can, we have 14 teams.
If he's in the portal, for the love of God, recruit Micah Hudson. Texas Tech right now, as I think we're in 2020. I think we're in 2027, and he is literally like the greatest receiver of all time.
Let's see,
Micah Hudson.
Yeah.
If he's in the portal,
and I
devote all of your time towards him. He is literally God at wide receiver.
I'm locked out. I'm sure you are, Matt, because he wants to go to USC, Texas, Ohio State, Arizona State, and Notre Dame. So that's fun.
Yeah, that is the one thing. His deal breaker, or at least it is in our online dynasty. I don't know if it's different in yours. His deal breaker is championship contender, and you have to be an A, not an A minus.
I have the deal breaker. I could get him, but he's already locked out. Fuck.
Yeah, same for me.
No.
All right. Let's wrap it up here with a quick congratulations to Sister Jean retiring at 106.
Jesus.
We wish you best of luck in her future endeavors. Also, R.I.P. the Rouge. That was basically killed on Monday. Absolute disgusting. Whatever. I'm blanking on our commissioner's name right now. Because it's just so disgusting killing the Rouge. That is pure Canadiana right there. So RIP the Rouge. But that's going to wrap it up. So thank you so much for watching this week's episode of the Merrifield Sportsbook Show. Make sure you click like, make sure you click subscribe. Tell everybody you know about it. We'll be back next week. Next week's show, who knows, could get funny. The board is funny. Let's just leave it at that. So for Jay DeCoster, for Matt Merrifield, for Justin Walsh, I am Nick Burt. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you again next week for another episode of the Merrifield Sportsbook Show.